What it do, baby?
Welcome back. Episode 4 of The Truth, Week 8 NFL. How you been doing, my friend?
I've been doing good. Watching. It's election night, big night for America. We don't talk politics, but we figure we'd acknowledge the fact that it's a big night in our country. How are you doing, Bruce?
I'm good. Election season. If we see us glancing up hither, we got the election on. We are watching all the live propaganda that's happening. Went to vote this morning. I wanted to vote at 7:30. I was going to work all day, and I was afraid of sleeping through it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stayed up until the time to vote, and then I went and voted. I was going to ride my bike, and I got up, and I could barely walk. So I just got in the car, went, got my vote in, good
Yes,
American
sir.
citizen.
Of course.
Then I had to go to sleep because I was brutally exhausted. So
Yeah.
I stayed up to work out, and I ended up breaking the treadmill. Got a good lift in, but the treadmill is now deceased. And so
Rip. I mean, we don't need cardio, anyways.
cardio is the only thing keeping me moving at this current moment. So the lady said 2 to 3 weeks on the new treadmill part. So
Oh God.
I was trying
to leave the house.
I was trying to run at speed 10. I was running all the way at 10, and then the whole thing died, and I
put that thing down.
about
at
hit the
7.
wall. Well, I was running at 7. It was the last lap. I was
So you
watching.
just speed it up a little bit.
I was watching Chiefs Rams in Mexico City. And
Great game. That's okay. Whenever I'm like working out or don't know what I want to listen to, it's either the podcast or if I'm sitting in the sauna or doing some kind of
Sitting in the
cardio,
sauna.
I'll turn on, some McCole Hardman career highlights.
Oh, my
some,
God.
Some old games. I mean,
McCole
Chiefs
Hardman,
Rams a classic. Super Bowl. I mean, those are just the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Pass
I
the
just
time.
like those legit games. And I was watching top 100 plays of 2019, and it immediately goes
Oh my
into
God.
it goes into Chiefs Rams, and that's when I remember the whole treadmill cutting out in me nearly any of my life, running into the wall. But yeah, it's been a good week. Election season, obviously high stress. Seems like there's going to be some crazy shit going on in this country, but
Here we
it's
are.
intriguing.
The truth goes
Here we
through
are.
anyways.
We're gonna make your day better. You can turn us on, listen to some sports talk and some life talk. But yeah, here we are. We're gonna go. We want to first of all, don't want to forget our producer's gonna get angry. Shout out our Twitter. Our Twitter is The Truth WBB. Is that it? The Truth
At
BB.
the Truth BB.
Our YouTube is The Truth with Bruce and Banny. And you can find us on all platforms, The Truth with Bruce and Banny, all podcast platforms. And we're continuing to grow. We're trying to continue to reach more people. We're keeping it real as usual. Later in this episode, we are at an addition of our new intern on. So our intern, Jake Unruh, is going to talk Week 9 predictions. That was certainly an interesting call. We had 2 calls with him. The first one wasn't recording, and it was actually the most funny one, but
Some stuff's there were
some very incriminating things, so it's going to take a lot of editing. So we recorded it again. It was much cleaner. We appreciate our intern for his help, and we're maybe looking to have him on future episodes, see his predictions. There was maybe some questionable takes where we questioned whether he watched football or not, but we do appreciate Jake for his time.
You have some of those sometimes. You have some bad takes sometimes.
Well, I've publicly stated that I do not watch all the games, and you don't like when I state that, but yeah, Jake, we appreciate his time. He's a funny guy, and we're excited for whatever role he's going to take on the podcast. But yeah, thank you guys all for listening. Who do you want to shout out?
I think the only guy I need to shout out my boy Webb Simpson. He had a questionable comment on our second most recent Twitter post.
Our Halloween post,
Halloween
yeah.
with Bruce and Banny. Commented something about a hammer. We'll leave that up to the audience for interpretation. But anyway, shout out Webb.
Third generation Kansas farmer. Fourth generation. So that's
we're
his
popular
great grandpa.
in rural America.
Yeah,
whether that's a burner or a real person, we're not sure.
Yeah, we don't care either. We
care.
appreciate you, Webb, and thanks for producing good content. This week, we'd love to have some Twitter engagement. If you guys want to comment on any of our takes or any of our picks, any of our draft picks, we will. We'd love to take it, and we're going to start up another fan questions segment. We had a guest on this week, guest on last week, so we're not doing the fan questions, but yeah, we're going to keep doing that, and I don't know. It's been going really well. We're excited. We're back Week 4 and Week 8 of the NFL. Let's get right into it. All right, Falcons, Panthers, 25-17 Falcons. The Hurricane Zeta game. We got some water. We got some crazy play. A lot of people thought it would be Matty Ice and Julio's last primetime game together.
Unfortunately, it wasn't. I was hoping it was.
Because Julio to the Chiefs.
No, just I think it would have been cool to see the Falcons do something productive for their team, like blow it up. They're just
cut Matt Ryan. Matty for the booth. Check out our most
Don't
recent
like
Twitter
the
post.
newest Twitter post. As much as I love seeing the likes and interactions, what a garbage take from Bruce himself. But anyways, I think this is another Falcons just continuing to not be able to do anything right. I think they should be trying to lose, and they just can't. They do this every year. They're going to be picking in that 6 to 8 range, and they're just shitty at tanking. They do this every single year. It's the same team every single year. I don't know what they're trying to do. I want to see my man Justin Fields in a Falcons uniform, but if they win, that's not going to happen. Shout out to Jackson Dooley and Evan Bannister for confirming that Justin Fields does not go to Georgia, because we did say that. He did once go to Georgia, and I'm pretty sure he's from Georgia. Yeah.
He goes to the Ohio State, but we appreciate you guys keeping us in check on that one. But, yeah, definitely, just one of those games. I think the Panthers have proved they're in a full rebuild. They have a decent bridge quarterback.
You had that Panthers take a couple weeks ago.
Okay, here's what I said. I said they're going to make the playoffs, and then once they lost to the Saints, I said this is the Saints. The Saints should take second in this division. Yeah. I obviously still stand by that. All right, Jets, Chiefs, 35-9 Chiefs.
I don't even know if we have to say anything about this game.
Yeah, I just wrote obvious. There's not much.
Yeah,
to talk about
the only real takeaway, Mahomes with 400 plus and 5 touchdowns, back in the MVP talks.
So 5 touchdowns against a JV defense potentially.
I'm not saying
it's like
he played well. I'm not saying.
Yeah, so very obvious game there. We got Cowboys Eagles 23-9 Eagles. I will just leave it to you on here.
Yeah, so Bruce is going to just not talk about the Cowboys or the Eagles because he hates them both probably equally right now. But the Cowboys losing out is real. It's a real thing.
I'm okay with it. I support it fully. I will say I have a problem. Jerry Jones, this is directly to you. I know we have about 100-ish plus viewers, but this is directed at you. I don't understand how you have Gucci Danucci, Cooper Rush, and Garrett Gilbert competing for a starting job.
They're giving up on Gucci after 1 week.
My boy Colin Kaepernick does not have a job in the NFL. Just let that sink in. Whatever your politics are, I don't care. Joe Flacco's a backup. Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job.
I mean, yeah, there's so many examples.
You got there's a lot of examples, but Gucci Danucci, I don't know. The man looked somewhat incompetent.
But are you expecting more to Cooper Rush or who's the other one? I'm a football nerd and I don't know the other one.
Garrett Gilbert, he was in the AAF.
Oh, Jesus.
You never watched the AAF?
Oh God.
The one thing about Cooper Rush is that he beat Oklahoma State on that massive Central Michigan. He beat him on that massive that was him. Yeah, that overtime or like the end of the fourth quarter. That was Cooper Rush. I'll never forget Cooper Rush, but certainly not an ideal situation. It seems like they ran every single trick play they had to score a total of 9 points.
Oh, that was a joke. They were just reversing the shit out of it.
Greg Zuerlein is by far their best player, unquestionable.
I don't even know.
And Dak with compound fracture might be the best quarterback on the team.
Oh, he'd for sure go out there.
So people were saying trade for Fitzmagic. Obviously, trade deadline's passed. Sign this, sign that. I would say start Gucci Danucci, lose the rest of the games, trade back in the draft, fire Fat Face Mike, hire somebody like maybe Lincoln Riley, like maybe Eric Bieniemy, like maybe Greg Roman, like maybe someone who's competent.
I just feel like we're talking about the same exact thing with the Cowboys every week, and it's just because they haven't fired Fat Face Mike yet.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen my Halloween costume, it was it was a good one. So again, check out the Twitter. But that was gross. Obviously, the Cowboys are sadly still everyone's still going to put them in the NFC competition. They will probably be in the hunt graphic for the rest of the NFL season.
So gross.
Don't love it, but they're there. Let's lose out. Let's draft something that can actually help us. Let's draft a secondary. Let's draft some linemen. We have a lot of holes to fill. Bills, Patriots up next, 24-21. The Bills pull it out. Cam Newton with a last-minute fumble to seal the game. How are we feeling about this game?
Well, I think the Bills are just good, not great. I think they're not contenders, but can win a game in the playoffs. I'd say I view the Buffalo Bills similar to how I view the Chicago Bears. Of like, yeah, they're gonna get in, but like, I just legitimately don't think they're capable of doing anything in the playoffs. I think they can win a game. That's it.
So I will say I had Josh Allen heavy in the MVP competition.
He's
it
out.
seems like he has proved himself that he's not ready. He has proved the potential that he can do that, but if that is going to come at a consistent level. I do have a hot take I want to mention about the Bills later, but I guess we're slightly worried about the Bills. It seems like the AFC East is kind of a wash a little bit. And what do you expect to see from the Pats next year? Bill Belichick did come out with this quote where he's basically like, we sold out the last 5 years, won 3 Super Bowls. What do you expect us to be good? And what do you expect for them? I don't see them going to a full rebuild with the greatest coach of all time at 68 years old, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I don't know the way Cam's been playing. And I mean, the thing is they lost to a solid Bills team by 3, and so I'm hesitant to say I'm completely out. But they're sitting at 2-5 right now.
2-5, yeah.
Yeah, 2-5, and so it's obviously something's not working, and so. I think it's all going to depend on who's quarterbacking next year. I mean, I'm hoping it's not Stidham or Cam Newton, but if it's one of these guys from the draft, I'm definitely interested on that because Belichick is Belichick. You know what I'm saying? Any competent quarterback can succeed, and unfortunately, I'm not sure Cam Newton is a competent quarterback anymore.
I don't know. I think the corona got him. I want to see what he can do in the next few weeks. Obviously,
I mean, he has the Jets. He has the Jets on Monday Night Football. And so, I mean, if he goes out and struggles against the Jets, I think that's going to give us a really good idea.
Yeah, you might want to hear what our intern has to say on that in the coming up segment. We will talk real quick about the NFL news. The NFL, due to coronavirus, is discussing a 16-team playoff. Let me know what you think about that. A lot of people are saying it's to just get the Cowboys in the playoffs. I really hope that's not it.
We might have opposite views on that.
I don't see a hurt in it. I mean,
I don't like it.
The MLB had half the teams make the playoffs this year. The NBA has almost always had half the teams make the playoffs. The NBA has had 16 people make the playoffs.
And we see, and an 8 seed has never done anything. So
so I don't know.
I get football's a little different because
you talking about the 8 seed in the NBA, the We Believe Warriors. They beat the number 1 seed Mavs. Come on, shout out Matt Barnes. Shout out all the smoke. Anyways, yeah, so that is definitely a potential. So you could see a team like the Patriots sneak in if they stop continuing to lose and maybe win some games, or I don't know, some of these sleeper teams that are slowly climbing. We were talking a lot about the NFC West, but that looks a little bit different this week after the Niners have $80 million of salary cap on IR,
and the Rams brutally choked to the Dolphins.
Yes. So that's definitely a little bit different of a picture now, but we were talking about all 4 of those teams going in. We'll see what happens with that. It's definitely something to keep our eye on. Next up, we got Titans, Bengals. The Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, come in and do something.
Yeah, this was a colossal meltdown by the Titans. I think I'm not worried about the Titans. I said last week that I was actually really impressed with the way they hung around. I think it's one of those games where you come back from such a gut-wrenching loss. I mean, that game was supposed to be played earlier in the season. It was getting all sorts of hype, and I think they just didn't come ready to play.
Also, they've had that coronavirus.
Yeah.
In the locker room, obviously also have Taylor Wan, one of the best tackles, highest-paid tackle in the league. Their left tackle out. Their run game has looked slightly different since then. Derrick Henry's still averaging 6.2 on the ground. I mean, he obviously still looked pretty good. Ryan Tannehill looked okay with a pick, but honestly, the story here is that Joe Burrow played really well, and the Bengals D stepped up what they needed to. There's always a bunch of quarterbacks to go in the first round, and there's always a bunch of busts. And pending Tua, this could be the best first round of quarterbacks so far. Because I think you and I are on the same page that Herbert and Burrow are studs for years and years to come.
They're gonna 15+ years. They're both
15 plus?
15. Dude, we're talking 1A, 1B, like it's gonna be like that Burrow Herbert debate forever. And the thing about it, the Chargers got some stuff to figure out internally, but they got a great roster, and the Bengals, I think I think the Bengals can be a good team. And
Yeah, and I'm
next year,
definitely,
in
I'm
the next
definitely
couple
stealing
years,
this from something that I watched today. But Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon could be like a foursome, a tandem for years and years.
No,
to
I
come.
like the Bengals in general. I think they're not good now. I think they need to get a better O-line, and their defense is
Hey,
shit.
shout out Hakeem Adeniji, KU, making his first
Love it.
NFL start. He actually looks super good. The thing is this is the best game their line has played by far against
and Burrow
a
sliced and
fraudulent what's his face, Jadeveon Clowney
He is
of
a
the
fraud.
Titans. He's a glorified Derrick Henry that plays defense. Cool. We're moving on. Raiders Browns.
My favorite one of the day.
16-6 Raiders.
We might have to crop in a thing of me last week pulling up the Baker cycle on my computer when Bryce was like, Baker is back, the Browns are back. And I pull up this ad. It's like, play well against a terrible team, which was the Bengals, which he plays well every year. Get what was it? Like have chip on shoulder or something.
It was like get cocky, then lose, then have a chip on his shoulder,
then get
convince himself he's
criticized
an
by
underdog.
media, and that's literally exactly what's going on now.
So I said Baker's cycle. I guess that is
it's such
that
a
is
real
what's
thing.
going. But I still
6 points. Bro.
I have been so. But okay, 6 points. Swirling winds of Northeast Ohio.
6 points.
The swirling winds of Northeast Ohio. Don't want to hear it.
We're blaming.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield putting up 6 points on the swirling winds of Ohio.
I'm blaming, yes, because I think you have to go the run game, and it doesn't seem like. I mean, the run game was not that good. Kareem Hunt, he had 66 yards rushing. Not great. Not terrible. They're as a team, they only had 100 yards rushing.
Yeah.
They got to do better than that.
I think when Chubb comes back, he'll be better.
Yeah. So there's that game. Definitely. I
just a
still
classic
am
Baker
super
Mayfield.
high. I still think the Raiders can make the playoffs.
But you had the Browns at 12-4. That's been your take since we started the pod.
So I think
that's pretty obvious. I think that they'll probably go closer to 9-7.
So they have to go 7-1 from here on out.
That's not happening.
I'm taking
3-4.
7-1. We'll see. 3-4 doesn't even add up. So great job.
No,
Be 4-4.
Whatever. 4-4.
Okay. All right. Moving on. I still think the Raiders. Got my boy Darren Waller. Shout out Darren Waller. Colts Lions 41-21 Colts.
Yeah, so I looked at this one. The Colts have gotten to be sort of forgotten about in the AFC. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're definitely a little bit forgotten about because they got that boy Phillip Rivers who has 50
Rivers.
kids who doesn't cuss.
Yeah, we should be talking about Phillip to the booth, not Matt Ryan. But the Colts are what? 6-2, 5-2. So they're playing well and stuff. But when we're talking about this, I think we said it last week with one of the teams. This is the Colts' upcoming schedule. They got the Ravens, the Titans twice, the Packers, the Texans twice, the Raiders, and the Steelers.
Yeah,
Big yikes. They might not make the playoffs.
They could lose all those games.
They could lose every single one of those games.
I would see them more or less like probably going like 2-6.
Like I mean, like that's
not a
that's
great.
generous. I
it's
mean,
not, they honestly should be undefeated right now because their losses are to the Browns and the Jaguars in a very ugly opening night.
That's what I'm saying is like the Colts are forgotten about, but at the same time, like I also don't think they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their defense is pretty good.
No, the D is fine, but like what are we on offense? We're talking about Old Man Rivers, where they have Jonathan Taylor
who
and
didn't
Nyheim
even
Hines.
play good.
Yeah, who's like
Nyheim Hines. Shout out McTwist. That sick.
That was
flip
sick.
He did.
That was sick.
But they had Jordan Wilkins was their leading rusher.
Yeah, what? He was feeding
JT
off
only
the
had
carries.
22 yards rushing, and Nyheim Hines
he
was
was
more or less
brutal.
used as a receiver with 54 yards
And then
receiving.
On the outside, they have like Ty, who has like 6 receptions all year, and freaking Michael Pittman.
Yeah, Ty's. Well, Pittman's out right now, but
Pittman and Paris Campbell are both out. Right?
Paris Campbell's been out since he's gotten in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Michael Pittman did play. He had
I thought he just came
one
back.
catch for 6 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean they don't look.
No, the offense is hard to watch. It's
but
not great.
They're committed to the rush.
Yeah.
And I guess you have. I mean, Phillip Rivers still had.
So I feel like we got to talk about the Lions at least a little bit. We've been over the Colts, but I think the Lions and the Falcons is like that Spider-Man meme, like pointing at each other, like just identical franchises. I don't have any idea.
I would
what
have
you
more
do.
of the Cowboys and the Falcons, but
No, but like the Lions and the Falcons are just like, what do you do? Like, they're just two teams that are just terrible at tanking. Like, they can never do it right. They're never good. They're gonna be picking at an average spot every single
this
year.
is the one thing I want to point out is that the Detroit has a decent backfield. AP, DeAndre Swift, they had 13 carries for 29 yards.
Yeah, I mean the Colts give some credit to the Colts D
For
but
sure, and Stafford played really well throwing the ball. I mean, he played good enough, 350 yards passing, but
Stafford is good. Stafford's not the problem.
Kenny Galladay 4 targets, no receptions. Marvin Hall was their top receiver.
Yeah, just gross.
Yeah, and I really think that. I mean, everyone wants to fire Matt Patricia. I think good franchises give coaches a little bit of a longer leash. I think that the Bengals with Marvin Lewis are the outlier in that because they did that all wrong.
Yeah.
But I think if they give him a couple more years and maybe try to trade Stafford or do something.
I think just Stafford deserves to be somewhere else because he's so talented and Detroit is just always so bad. And
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
his
the only
fault.
player you have to keep on this roster is DeAndre Swift and Galladay, yeah.
Yeah, Galladay is such a stud.
He is, and I mean his career may or may not be wasted here too. Just the Lions are known for wasting careers. They did that with Barry Sanders. He retired early because of.
So did Calvin Johnson.
So that was what I was saying. Megatron. He retired early too. So, yeah. They're not in a great spot. Definitely not in a great spot. We'll go Packers Vikings. We got 28-22 Vikings. Oh, what happened?
Dalvin Cook happened. I mean, right?
Okay.
That's what happened.
The reason that the Packers did not advance in the playoffs is because they gave up like 200 yards before contact against the Niners in the divisional in the championship.
Well, and Aaron Rodgers getting destroyed that game.
Yeah, but still, it was all about their defense. And then they go out and they draft a backup running back they don't need and a backup quarterback they don't need. It seems like they're committed to winning later and not committed to winning now when they're obviously like 2 pieces away.
Packers make no sense.
And they didn't make a single move at the trade deadline.
Okay, well, the thing about it, I wanted them to make a move for Will Fuller because I think that would have been exciting and fun. But the Texans...
But you want him to be a Chief, so...
I do think he could be Sammy Watkins' potential replacement.
He's better than Sammy Watkins.
He's better than Sammy Watkins. He's also like... Sammy Watkins is made of glass. I don't know if there's anything
so is Will Fuller.
More breakable than glass, but if so, that would be Will Fuller. Like, he's literally like him and Sammy Watkins are similar, except Fuller's probably a little more talented. But, yeah, they didn't do anything. So, but they were asking for a second. The Texans wanted a second for Fuller, which is a little steep.
Which is steep, especially because he has got $5 million left on his contract, and he's basically a 10-game rental.
Yeah, he'd go to the Packers.
My response to that would be if you go to the Packers, if the Packers add him and potentially trade for somebody like Quan Alexander, they're looking at having a real chance of making a run. Like, legitimately.
I mean,
they're like a couple pieces away. Their defense isn't bad.
When you
it
have
just has
Rodgers,
huge gaps.
like they're always gonna have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like they're a top 3 team in the NFC. No one's arguing anything else. So to see them not do anything, to see them draft Jordan Love, AJ Dillon, we talk about it every week. Mind blowing.
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're doing.
Okay. Rams, Dolphins. AB's low on Tua. I do want to say
I'm low on Tua.
His defense played so well that they really didn't need him to do that much.
I'm not low on Tua. I think the move was just bad. I don't like it. And because Fitzmagic was playing so well, it just didn't make any sense. It just seems so forced. And
I mean, we've talked about it a couple times. It seemed like it was predetermined.
I know,
but Tua didn't look bad. I think his defense played so well that they almost handcuffed him late in the game, forcing to run the ball to ensure they won the game. But I would say Tua had a chance to lose that game, and he didn't turn the ball over. Looked all right. I want to see him in a shootout or in a game where they're behind and they need to score and see what he does because
I think that would be fun.
They were ahead from the jump because they were literally their defense played so well that all they had to do was force feed their backs and they were going to be fine.
Just riddle me this, because Herbert and Burrow are playing so well, like, what do the Dolphins do if Tua goes out and throws 3 picks in the first half? Like, what? You can't.
You
just
leave him in.
immediately
You committed
go,
to doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Like, that's what's
Yeah.
so. Like, he's not only does he have the pressure to be good because he was backing up Fitzmagic, who was balling, but it's also because of Herbert and Burrow. Like,
And don't forget Jalen Hurts in Philly.
we yet to see that. The Philly keeps winning, so.
Keeps what? They've won 3.
What did the Cowboys, Redskins, and Giants won? None.
Washington football team. Excuse you.
Excuse me, the football team. I'm extremely
Excuse
sorry.
you. Okay. Yeah. So I want to see Tua play from behind, or I want to see Tua in a shootout. It was literally. I watched that game. I illegally streamed it on Crack Streams. Pulled it up. It was
No Reddit.
They scored. No, stay off Reddit. They scored on the first drive, and then on the second drive, I believe he was strip sack first drive. They scored.
Yeah.
Then the Dolphins went and scored, and then there was like
The
a
shit
fumble
show.
recovery.
Yeah,
there was.
just-
And
he
so
didn't
then
even
the
see the
Dolphins,
field
So
for,
then
like-
yeah. So all the points they scored basically weren't him, and then they were just basically running the ball after that.
Yeah.
They had 25 carries. A
I
pretty
mean,
good amount.
they won against a good Rams team by 11, so shout out Tua for the first win, but I just wanted to see more.
So
That's-
what do we think about the Rams now? I mean, they're in a.
I don't.
They have
I
a,
have no
They have a
idea.
chance in the NFC West still. I do want to say, Darrell Henderson continues to impress me.
Again,
Literally proves why Todd Gurley is so replaceable.
these teams, dude, I just don't understand. Like, they went and drafted Cam Akers in the second round after drafting Henderson in the second round the year before. It just makes no sense. And Akers has yet to see the field really. He's
I
getting.
mean, he did have 9
out-touched by-
carries, but
which is an improvement.
and
It's
he's
probably
had-
his season
yeah.
total higher than any other game.
Yeah, but Darrell Henderson, I think he looks really good. Only had 8 carries, 47 yards, 5.9 average.
he's looked good.
Yeah,
all
no,
year.
he's looked good, and he's just like a strong runner. And I like.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like him. But I mean, Goff sitting at about 50% passing.
I just
wasn't
expect
great.
more from the Rams. I think
Yeah, but
They
it could
confuse
be one
me.
of those games. They were coming off one of those. I mean,
I think
signature win.
They
against-
should make the playoffs. The Rams.
I think they should too, especially if we go to the 16-team format. But I think with the Niners the way they are, I think that they should.
Are they talking about that this year? That's not.
They're
This
talking
year.
about potentially this year. Yeah, they're
No
talking about
way.
potentially changing. No, they are. They're talking about potentially changing it for this year. But
That's dumb.
I'll still say I think that if obviously Jimmy G's out, they still have a chance to get third in the division,
Yeah.
still make the playoffs just because of how good their little division conference is. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. But
Steelers,
yeah,
Ravens?
I want to see more from Tua. I
Yeah.
do. I'm excited about
Steelers,
it. Steelers Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, so I said the Ravens would win. I did forget that Lamar struggling in big games is becoming a thing, right? I mean, let's not deny it. It's becoming a
I
thing.
do remember saying that the Steelers
Hey,
were going
props.
to win.
Props, credit, respect.
Lamar, and you can say, oh, he beat the Steelers last year. Well, he beat the Steelers against Duck Hodges, so congratulations. I could have
let's-
done that.
yeah,
Quack, quack.
Danucci could have done that. Gucci.
I do not believe that. Gucci is, I mean, that sidearm throw is next level. I mean, it is wild.
But like,
I mean, people were like, he's sidearming it. And like people that watched him in college were like, he's not sidearming it. That's just how he throws.
That's just how he throws. Yeah, that's
but okay,
not
I
great.
will say I like seeing him go out like that rather than going out there and being passive and like trying to hit his
No,
cutoff guys. He's like pushing the ball downfield, like basically through a pick every single play.
That's okay. I'd
Yeah.
rather see that than all this check down shit we see from backups all the time.
Facts.
So.
Yeah, they ran. Yeah, I don't know. The Ravens ran the ball. Considering how good the Steelers defense is, I mean they had as a team 265 rush yards, and
Yeah.
if you can't win with that, I mean it
I
just
don't
comes
know.
down to what you do in the passing game. And Lamar honestly had a pretty good game besides turning the ball over.
But he had 4 of them, bro. Like,
Yeah, 'cause
you
he had
can't have a good
fumbles.
game as a quarterback with 4 turnovers. You just can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, and the play at the end was, I mean, people were always going to look at that, but
Yeah, it's just,
they were looking like they were.
yeah.
gonna lose the
Again,
game.
Lamar's not playing bad, but the expectations are through the roof, and he won MVP. He was voted as the #1 player in the league, and so that's kind of the
Did
consequence.
he
of
win
that
unanimous? I feel like he won unanimous.
MVP.
Yeah, he did.
It was unanimous. Yeah.
So
And so that's what happens is when you begin to regress even a little bit is everyone's going to nitpick. And so when he keeps struggling to win these big games, he didn't do shit versus Kansas City.
I wouldn't even call it regression necessarily. Saturday morning they paid that left tackle, and then he got
he broke his ankle.
Injury.
Yeah.
And then if you Marshall Yanda, their Hall of Fame guard, retired after last year, so they have holes to fill there. But
yeah, I mean O-line is.
It's one of those things where they kind of. I mean, coordinators are going to figure out what you're going to do, and they're going to try and take away the run from Lamar. He's still at 65 yards on the ground, but he becomes kind of one-dimensional. But
I'm definitely not out on the Ravens. I think it's just becoming a little bit like the Steelers and the Chiefs in one tier, and then maybe like the Ravens and the Titans and the maybe just the Ravens and the Titans in the next tier.
Potentially
and then
the Bills.
Maybe the Bills,
Potentially.
Yeah.
I want to see this team win a big game, but I kind of saw this coming. I think the Steelers are absolutely rolling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Steelers.
Juju's kind of looking back. And I mean, they just have so many weapons.
And that defense, bro.
They struck gold with Chase Claypool. Also, I love Chase Claypool. He looks great.
He's in my pick 3 for this week. You're gonna love it.
Mapletron. It's a weird nickname.
You compare DK to Megatron. You compare Chase Claypool to Megatron.
No, his nickname is Mapletron because he's Canadian. I don't think he's about 1 cent of what DK is. DK is the greatest football player ever.
Bryce
we are a
Bryce
DK
is
Metcalf pod.
Absolutely convinced that not only is DK like the best wide receiver in the NFL, but like the second coming of.
Oh, you saw LeBron.
Calvin Johnson
you saw LeBron
and Jerry
said.
Rice.
You saw LeBron said.
He
Called him Baby Braun.
You can't. God, LeBron,
Imagine LeBron.
You can't compare players to yourself. That's just a bad look.
Said DK out there looking like Baby Braun.
God, that's so cringe. That's so cringy.
It's like if I'm standing out there at like the youth football fields. Oh, that looks like a little Bryce Smith there.
I hate that.
I mean, that is just
we know LeBron is good.
Hilarious.
I hate that.
Oh my
Don't
God.
call other people Baby Braun.
That's just a big ego there. Shout out LeBron James. Shout out DK Metcalf. We'd love to have you guys on the pod. So let us know. We're gonna keep asking. We are DK Metcalf.
Gonna have to make
pod.
some room in the studio.
Yeah, the studio is a bit small. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on. Broncos, Chargers.
I hate
classic
the Chargers so
moxie game by my man Drew Lock, who does have moxie.
He just has swag, and this is like he didn't even play well. Like, honest to God, he didn't.
Played good at the end. That's all that matters.
Towards the end, like he really didn't play that well. But people are just gonna love him forever because he's swag, dude. I'm telling you,
because he's swag.
He is, and Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew, Joe Burrow, literally is everything that Baker Mayfield tries to be, and he just never will be. And I know that you love Baker, but like those 3 guys could like literally lose and they will still have fans. Like Baker, it's the fake like swag. Like it just doesn't work.
Okay, so I want to talk about this. The Chargers seem to be cursed because they did that.
They are.
All the things they're doing is
Free
what
Herbert
they used to do. They used to do when Phillip Rivers was their quarterback, and people thought he would drag that with him to
it's
Indianapolis, but now
it's Anthony Lynn.
It was started before Anthony Lynn was even there. I actually love Anthony Lynn.
What?
I shouldn't have watched Hard Knocks. I shouldn't have watched Hard Knocks because I really like Anthony Lynn. I don't want him to get fired.
I think he's a good guy. Bad coach.
I've been reading what it says is that the only way Anthony Lynn would save his job is because he was very instrumental in drafting Justin Herbert.
Then, okay, if he loves Herbert so much, why was Tyrod Taylor ever on the field? They were holding this dude, Justin Herbert, out. They were going to do it for the whole year.
You can say that. Why was Alex Smith the starter of the Chiefs?
Because Mahomes wasn't ready. Herbert is playing like a top 8 quarterback right now. That is wild.
Okay, they're still winning games, so
they were really going to run out Tyrod over Justin Herbert for a full season. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anthony Lynn, that's definitely a question mark. I would say if they still have a chance to like.
People talk about the Falcons blowing games. The Chargers are just as bad.
Worse.
They do it every week.
If the Chargers can win, if they go 7-9, I think they give Anthony Lynn one more year.
He can't.
I want to see that.
Can you imagine? We be enemy Lincoln Riley with the Chargers. someone
Dabo
fun,
swing.
someone fun with the Chargers. Like
Yeah.
That'll go.
Because, I mean,
draft
their
another
weapons are
weapon.
crazy.
I mean, they have Keenan. Mike won't catch it, a.k.a. Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Best.
Shout
He
out.
has one skill, and that is deep ball receiver. He can't do anything else, but he's really good at it. So.
And Austin Eckler's been on IR, and
Yeah.
they're still playing good enough to win. They just can't win at the end of it.
It just sucks. And it seemed like I talked about it before, I think, how I like the Chargers for some reason, even though they're in division rivals with my favorite team. They just suck. They can never figure it out. This is every year, dude. Every year.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Definitely a good game at the end. It did look like it was a runaway, and I was honestly thinking Drew Lock hot seat, but pulled it out, started rapping at the end of the game. He's a starter for another 8 weeks. We got Saints-Bears. Definitely a crazy game. I had the Bears all the way. Bear Don, as you know, we're going all the way with the Bears this year. But their offense is horrible.
So in your notes here, it says, "Do you look at Mitch at all?" And you're just sucking off Big Nick for
I'm
forever,
asking
basically.
Thank you for reading my notes. My question would be: are you looking at Mitch at all as Aiden Bannister? After you moved on from him, by the way, I just want to throw out this, Jim. The first 3-0 starter, not hindered by injury, to be benched after going 3-0 since John Hadel, University of Kansas. John Hadel in the 40s.
Absolutely nobody believes in Mitch Trubisky. Nobody.
Well, I mean, I think Matt Nagy's just trying to separate himself from the general manager, so if somebody gets fired, it's not him. Because I still think Nagy's a decent coach.
No, he's above average coach. He's a really good coach.
I think that's possibly a move to separate himself from the GM that drafted Mitch, 3rd overall. But
it was 2nd, wasn't it?
One of the two.
Yeah.
But would you look at all to Mitch? Is there a scenario?
No, you can't. No.
So you just roll with BDN.
Yeah,
I agree with
BDN's
that, obviously. Saints are looking better. Hopefully Michael Thomas comes back. It is funny, the guy that Michael Thomas punched in practice was
wild
punched by Wims during
I don't
the
know.
game. It looks like, what I heard is that he pulled out his mouthpiece a series
spit
before
on him.
and spit on him. So then he jumped in there and
Snatched
decided to take it in his
just
own hands.
punched him in the helmet twice. Let's just
Let's
see
end
everyone
helmet punching.
Let's end helmet punching. I think it's almost a meme at this point. I don't get it. These grown men are just
he did hit him with the
socking.
uppercut that was maybe a little bit more effective, but the straight up soccer bopper helmet punching is definitely an interesting look.
Did you see Wims socked Chauncey Gardner-Johnson first, and then he just stood there,
and then
he did it again,
and then he's hyping himself off the field, and then
you're gonna get suspended.
He's just gonna get cut. They don't really need him on that team. He did get suspended for 2 games. He's appealing that currently because he is using the spit as an excuse. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm still looking for the Bears to make a run. The Saints are looking better. They also added Quan Alexander through the trade deadline.
Yes, sir.
Definitely a decent ad. Trade away Kiko Alonso, but it's basically a direct replacement.
Quan's better. He's just hurt more. So
yeah, but I mean unlike the Packers, that's a team that looks like they're looking to make a run. In their last year with Drew Brees, they're $200 million over the salary cap, but it is. I think everyone knows it's their last year with Drew Brees, and if Drew Brees wants to play, he's gonna have to play somewhere else because I think
that's right.
It's kind of a mutual breakup.
Jameis time.
It is Jameis time. Future Hall of Famer Jameis Winston. Love to see him taking the field. Taysom Hill, future Steve Young, according to Sean Payton. We'll see about that. All right, Seahawks Niners. Kind of a runaway game with the Niners. I do want to say, DK Metcalf. Holla at your boy. He is a legend. Goated,
he is a legend.
Superhuman,
He's so good.
Next level. He is the best receiver in the league. Don't want to hear.
No,
it.
he's not, bro.
Best receiver in the league.
Bro, there's just no way we could say that yet. And I love DK as much as anyone. There's no possible way we're saying DK Metcalf is the best receiver in the league.
DK Metcalf, best receiver in the league. He has all the intangibles and all the tangibles.
He's literally
so good.
I mean, he's not. We just can't say he's better than Hopkins yet. We can't say he's better than Julio. We can't say he's better than Thomas, not Tyreek. I'd say if you're going to say
slant God Michael Thomas, who has played 2 games this year, he's better than him.
I really don't like Michael Thomas.
DeAndre Hopkins is the most other up there player. He is as fast. He is a step slower than Tyreek Hill. a step slower.
He's not a step
potentially.
slower than Tyreek Hill. He is a legit.
You think he's as fast as Tyreek Hill?
DK?
Yeah.
No, he's way slower than Tyreek Hill.
No, he's
Tyreek
really
Hill's
fast.
a 4.1.
A 4.1. No. A 4.2.
Tyreek is an Olympic sprinter.
We'll go 4.2.
Hey, whatever. He literally, his high school 200-meter dash time would have placed like 6th at the Olympics.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Like, let's not. No.
But, I mean, if you give, we'll go 2 steps slower than Tyreek, but he has the body of
Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
Derrick
Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No, he's elite.
He also has the body of Jacob Unruh. We learned that today.
That was Jake's comp for himself. So that's.
He has the body of Jacob Unruh.
Yeah,
so,
but with the Seahawks, it's literally last week it was Lockett that went crazy. This week it's DK. It's a two-headed monster.
They got weapons
straight
out the
up.
wazoo. Won the game with
Out
DJ
the
Davis.
wazoo.
DJ, what's his last name?
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas playing out
Big
of his
game.
mind. Shout out DJ Davis. My bad.
I think at the end of the day, the defense is going to hold them back. I think that's what separates Tampa from
I want to
them.
see them get back in there with Jamal Adams. They also traded for Carlos Dunlap. I want to see what
That
those
was
two
actually a
add
good
in.
move.
It was a good move. Posted his home for sale after the game. Legendary move by Carlos Dunlap and got shipped out of town. It was pretty awesome.
Effective.
It was effective. And I would maybe do the same thing. So we'll see what happens with them. You're saying their defense is going to hold them back. I still think the Cardinals win that division, but we will see what happens.
Bucks Giants.
Bucks Giants. Giants, don't draft a quarterback. Please
roll with Danny
Please
Littlehands.
do not draft a quarterback.
I don't think they will. Gettleman.
There's people. Oh man, Trump just won Ohio.
Did you really?
It's a big state. Wow.
There it is.
All right, we're watching the election live, so this is a live reaction. But Danny Dimes, yeah, I think you got to roll with him just because I think he's shown enough stuff to be good, and I think moving on. I mean, he's played a year and a half. I think you can't move on that quickly, and there's so many other places they can address, like maybe their receiving core. Like maybe
the whole defense, the whole
defense,
the whole O-line.
The O-line, they've been building the O-line through the draft the last few years.
Yeah,
though.
it's still not great.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
Shout out Alfred Morris. He played this week.
Alfred Morris.
I did not even know. I was just looking at fantasy points. It's like, oh, Alfred Morris back in the league. He hadn't played in over a year. And I will say, Danny Dimes, the son of Eli Manning,
he might be the son of Eli. I wouldn't be
known
shocked.
Tampa Brady killer, goes
It's TB12
and almost beats TB12.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about the Bucks. I mean, I'm sure they were kind of just looking over the Giants. I mean, it happens. I think the Bucks will be fine. I think the Giants showed a little sign of life in the NFC East, which is encouraging. So.
I mean, I want to see what they can do. That's why I think you don't draft a quarter. You get Saquon
No, you
back,
definitely don't draft a
and you
quarterback.
figure out where you're at defensively. And I mean, I think.
Yeah, we're on the same page there.
Yeah, I really want to see what happens with that. But yeah, what do you think overall week 8? How are we feeling?
Week 8 feeling good. My team's 7-1, so I'm always feeling great.
We are 2 and something, and we're looking forward to drafting really, really high or trading back and getting some decent players.
Some decent picks, yeah. So it was a solid week. We going into some segments?
Well, first off, we'll do a quick transition, ladies and gentlemen. This is our interview with our new intern, Intern Jake, Jacob Unruh. He's going to break down the week 9 matchups and tell you what he thinks. Very interesting conversation with our intern.
Should have seen the first one.
Definitely a fun combo. Very good. The first one did not air because it would have taken a lot of editing and a lot of bleeps. But a
lot of questionable things said.
A lot of questionable things.
And
we're potentially questioning how much football he watches. But we're happy to have him on the show regardless. Funny guy, great human. Happy to have him on the show. So we want to thank you, Intern Jake. And yeah, now to his interview. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now, we already recorded this once, but on our side, we forgot to record. So we're now joined once again by our wonderful intern, Jacob Unruh. We went to high school with him. Aiden worked with him, Lawrence Landscape.
Yeah, my first interaction with Mr. Unruh after high school, he actually called in sick on a Saturday. I'm assuming hungover. Confirm if I'm right or not.
I just didn't want to go work.
Okay, we'll go with that.
I don't work there anymore, so it's okay.
Called
it's
in
all
on
good.
called in on a Saturday, so I had to take Unru's place on his job, which is basically just driving around this truck. And
he wrecked my truck.
I ended up wrecking Unru's truck, and so I had to call him, tell him that it was kind of a big deal. But now we're here. We're on the pod, so.
My last interaction with Unruh was before COVID. We used to play football in the field every once in a while, actually almost every single weekend. And not only was Unruh some type of monster, he was not typically allowed inside the apartment after playing. And he once tried to jump over a fence, and it did not end well.
I thought I broke something. I thought I did.
All right, so Unruh is going to be our sports analyst intern. He's going to go through the games, give us his predictions. Your job as the listeners is to determine if his predictions are good or not. We're going to listen to him, and we'll see what you got. So just let's go through game by game. Green Bay, San Francisco.
Green Bay and San Francisco. Last week, the San Francisco 49ers lost to the Seahawks. I thought it was a good game. 49ers played pretty damn well against the Seahawks team. Packers, though, I don't know. Packers did lose to the Vikings last week, and I call that a fluke kind of in a way. I think this week I got the Packers this week going to win this week. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back out from kind of an iffy game that he had last week. I think he's going to pull it off and get the win this week.
All right, we like it. Denver, Atlanta, hit us.
We have Denver and Atlanta. Last week we had where we at? We had the Broncos beat the Chargers 31-30. And then what we got? The Falcons. I don't know. Falcons. I think the Falcons can probably do it. They beat the Panthers last week. I think I'm gonna go with the Falcons this week. I don't think the Broncos will fill it up.
Let me ask you a question. Does Drew Lock have moxie?
Have what?
Moxie.
Sure. How about sure? Yeah.
All right, let's go. Seattle, Buffalo.
Seattle and Buffalo. Let's look here. Seattle. Again, they won last week against 49ers. And you know what? And the Bills, pretty decent team, but I don't think that they can pull it off against the Seahawks. I think that Russell Wilson, because I just have a feeling that the Seahawks are going to win this week. That's just me with the overall senses of it. Not really much to say about the teams. So I think the Seahawks are going to win.
All right, good to know. Chicago, Tennessee.
Chicago and Tennessee. You already know this. The Bears. We're going to go with the Bears this week against the Titans. It's down for it. It's going to happen. I think the Bears are going to beat the Titans this week.
And what's the main reason? What's the one player that makes you think that?
What's the main reason?
Player. If you have to pick one player that makes you think that.
One player. You want to pick one player from the Bears that I think is going to make the difference?
Yes.
Got to be Big Dick Nick. Big Richard.
It's got to be Big Dick Nick.
All right, we love it.
Got to be Big Dick Nick Foles, baby.
All right, we love it. Carolina, Kansas City.
Carolina will not keep up with the Chiefs this week against their powerhouse offense. Even though the Chiefs have a little struggling with their defense overall, we've gotten better as a team. Saying we, as I'm a huge fan of the Chiefs, we've gotten better this year as a defense, but at the same time, it's still crooked in some areas. But I think the Chiefs will, with their offense, will run over the Panthers this week.
Baltimore, Indianapolis.
Baltimore and Indianapolis. I got to go with the Ravens. I have to go with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson. You know what? I watched him last week play, and he had a couple iffies that happened. And the Colts are just not a team that you see come out and just going to just run over a defense like the Ravens. The Ravens defense is known over a decade for just their defensive play skill. So
All right, I like it. Detroit, Minnesota.
Detroit, Minnesota. I'm pretty sure I put this up as a toss-up when we went over the recording. I'm pretty sure this was the team that I put as a toss-up because it can go either way.
You predicted it. You predicted it as a tie.
I did predict it as a tie. I did. That's exactly what I did.
Bold. Very low chance that is correct, but I'm loving it.
I'm going to go with a tie this week with the Lions and the Vikings. I think it's going to go to OT, and I think it's not going to be settled anyway.
All right, I love it. I absolutely love that pick. New York, Washington football team.
New York and the Washington football team. Oh, yeah. So I think the Giants, even though the Giants right now, standing-wise, they're not looking amazing. I have that feeling that they can pull out a win against Washington this week.
You have any main reasons for that pick?
I'm going to put no comment on that for this segment right here.
All right, we're going to go Houston, Jacksonville.
Houston and Jacksonville. You know what? I got the Texans this week. I think that the Texans defense are definitely going to be able to stop the Jaguars offense. I don't see a lot of key threats for the Jaguars in their offense. And the Texans, I don't know. They can move the ball. They really, really can move the ball. And that's why I like watching the Texans play when they do play. I just don't think the Jaguars have the skill set for offense or defense to beat the Texans this week. That's just me.
Definitely a good take. Do you compare yourself to J.J. Watt?
I used to. I used to compare myself to
back in your day. Now you're more of a DK Metcalf type, right?
Yeah, I'm a little thick around the belly, if you know what I mean. A little thick.
No shame in that. We'll go Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers.
Las Vegas Raiders and Chargers. When I went over these two teams with you, I remember saying I thought the Raiders were better than they were. They're not. The Chargers again are a team that can play football. I know that they can play football, but they have to finish games, and that's why I think this is the week that's going to come up where we see the Chargers pull a good upset against a pretty decent team in the league. I got my money on the Chargers this week. I think it's going to be I think I put this game as a 31-27 game for the Chargers. I think that's what I put that game as.
All right, Pittsburgh, Dallas.
Pittsburgh and Dallas. I hate the Cowboys. F you, Braden Solko. I hate the Cowboys. Steelers all the way. Big Ben this week, baby.
All right, Miami, Arizona.
Miami and Arizona. I don't know how to say his last name. Is it Tagu?
Tua Tagovailoa.
I'm gonna call him Tua.
Right.
Tua and Kyler Murray. Tua and Kyler Murray here. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins this week. The Dolphins did have a pretty damn good game against the Rams last week, and just by that, I can see a little bit of a spark come up for the next week coming out.
I love it.
Where they're gonna be fired up to play against this team coming up, and I think that Kyler Murray. I don't know. With Kyler Murray, I just don't think that he might be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but at the same time, I just don't think that I don't think that he can even beat the Dolphins defense with his set of players that they have for their offense. So
all right, many would disagree, but I like the boldness on that. New Orleans, Tampa Bay.
New Orleans and Tampa Bay, and we talked about this for a little bit about AB might be coming back this week with the Buccaneers. That's a huge gain for the Buccaneers if they do play this week. If AB plays this week. With that being said, it's going to be a close game no matter how you look at it from both sides of the field. I think Drew Brees is going to come out and sling the ball like he normally does. And then Tom Brady has multiple receivers that he can use to basically get the ball around. He is a certified GOAT in football. I've never been a fan of him, but I will respect the player. He is absolutely an amazing quarterback. I think I got my money on the Buccaneers this week, especially if AB is playing. But if you're going to put your money after to see if AB is going to play, I would put my money on Buccaneers anyway.
All right. And who would you compare Rob Gronkowski to if you had to compare him to one person?
Channing Tatum. They're both morons, but they're good at what they do.
I love it. All right, New England and the Jets. I think we have a bold take coming here.
We do got a bold take coming here, man. I don't think Cam Newton has it anymore, man. I think that he's got a couple seasons left in him. But I would certify him as like a Tim Tebow or a RG3. Plays. He's gonna be playing. He played for a while. He was good when he was good at the Panthers. He was really, really good at the Panthers. I don't know why. I mean, the Patriots got everybody that they had that was good besides what's their wide receiver? Willer? Edelman. They have Edelman and who else? I mean, they can't rely Cam Newton to run the ball if there's nobody open. And I'm going to put my money on the Jets this week for a closing night for the Monday Night Football. I think that the Jets can beat the Patriots this week.
I love it. All right, now if you had to give your biggest hammer, what game you are the most confident about? What is it?
I'm probably going to go with for this week for if you're going to pick one of my selections. I'm probably going to go with the Ravens and the Colts.
Okay, I like it.
If there was a lot of money you want to put on the line, Ravens and Colts is a good game to put that money on.
So Jacob Unruh, our game picker, our intern, not only a professional game picker, but also a professional political analyst.
Love it.
All right, sir. We appreciate you hopping back on. We appreciate all the possible facts that you spoke. If you guys agree with what he says, let's hear it. If not, let's hear it even louder. And we're excited to have you on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, guys. You have a good week. Can't wait to see you guys next week.
Yep. Take it easy, bro.
You as well.
Peace. All right. That interview with intern Jake was brought to you by EB Sneakers.
Hey, man.
Hit him up on Twitter.
Go get you some
Instagram.
sneakers.
Go get you some shoes.
Yes, sir.
Our producer, a legend of the game, over here wearing his glasses, looking like a nerd, looking like a scientist. Really good guy. So thank you to him. And now we're going to jump into some segments for episode 4.
Game balls.
Game balls of the week. Over here looking over my computer.
I looked at yours. We have the same one. Dalvin Cook in the NFC absolutely trampled the Packers.
I kind of have a different one because I knew you were going to do that. So I also have DK
You also had
Metcalf.
DK. Yeah, you could pick either
Superhuman. DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Legend of the game.
Yeah, enormous weeks for both. Where'd you go AFC?
I had it between two people. I had it between Joey Burrow or my other one was Drew Lock with the Moxie game.
Which one do you go with?
Pulling it out. I'm going with Drew Lock.
I gave it to Burrow.
Okay,
so.
but it was the AFC games, there was a lot less like awesome performances.
Yeah, but Burrow getting the dub over the Titans.
I really think there's a quarterback controversy in Denver if Drew Lock loses that game. Biden just won Virginia.
Seems important.
It was probably important, and it looks like he's going to lose Wisconsin.
Enough politics for today.
God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is insane, guys. We're doing this all live, so
there it is.
This is crazy. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we might have some Twitter memes coming, but my boy AB went as a Trump supporter to Halloween.
Oh yeah, peep the Twitter.
Kind of throwing shade at people, but
I mean, it wasn't more shade. It was just fun.
It was funny
Yeah.
for sure. Hot takes of the week. What do you got?
I went since he makes the playoffs next year.
They make the playoffs next year.
That's my hot
Since
take.
he's a contender next year.
Since he's not a contender because they're in a division. They're in a division with the Ravens, Steelers, and Browns. So I think making the playoffs next year is pretty hot. But
yeah,
because I mean the Steelers and Ravens.
I don't hate it.
Away.
Joe Burrow, like people just don't understand. It's not even. He's not the most talented guy. He's never been the most talented. Wasn't the most talented.
I love him.
Insanely smart.
Just such a good football player. Like, you know what I mean?
Just ridiculous.
Like such a good
player.
So
smart, such a good guy, level-headed.
How can you dislike him? Does anyone dislike Joe Burrow?
I mean, maybe if you're a Clemson fan.
Maybe.
And he's telling you his ring size before he goes out, and then he still goes.
But that's what makes him great. That's why he's so much better than Baker
Mayfield. Because he talks the talk all day, but he actually walks
Joe
a lot.
Burrow will tell the other team his ring size and whatnot, and Baker will be over there grabbing his crotch on the Kansas sideline. Like that's the difference. Is like
Facts.
One guy is like everyone likes, and the other one everyone dislikes, and that's it.
All right, I have a hot take this week. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. The Dolphins will win the AFC East. Okay. Here's why. I have validation for
because
this.
You think Tua is
because Tua's insane. First of all, if you can beat out Jalen Hurts, future Hall of Famer for a starting spot, then you can basically do anything.
Oh God.
The Dolphins next 5 games: Cardinals, toughie, but Cardinals, Chargers, Broncos, Jets, Bengals. That looks like 4-1 to me.
The thing is they could realistically. I mean, Jake picked the Dolphins, right? That was his pick.
Yeah, he picked the Dolphins.
I believe so. I mean, it's not out of the water for them to go 5-0 there. So
I would say a happy minimum
of
like
3-2.
But I would say a median is 4-1. I could see
Yeah.
it very legitimately 4-1, and then
Yeah.
what they're
I actually like it.
8 and
Solid take.
what are they 8-4 after that?
Yeah.
Not a horrible place to be.
No.
And their final stretch is tough, but I'm looking at the next 5 games, hoping they'll build some momentum because they have good pieces there. The Bills' next 5 games are Seahawks, Cardinals, Chargers, beat up Niners, Steelers. That looks
They
like
could lose all 5.
2-3 or 1-4 to me.
Yeah.
So
Big time. Bills frauds. Been over it.
pretenders, not contenders.
Exactly.
But we will see. I really think it could happen just because of the next 5 games, and then, I mean, the AFC's obviously insane, so they're all playing tough games after that. But I think you let Tua kind of incubate and you let them build up momentum, and I think you could seriously see them looking super good after that. And then everyone calling for Beeflo's head last year looks stupid because they traded away Laramie Tunsil and Minka Fitzpatrick, 2 disgruntled players, and they're going to be drafted super high for a long time. They got the Texans' first-round pick this year.
Oh, that's going to be top 5.
Which is going to be top 5.
It's projected top 5.
So they could trade that back. They could
do whatever.
draft some linemen. They could draft a receiver. They could, I mean, there's a number of things they could do with that. So love the future for the Dolphins. You got another hot take?
That was it for this week.
Yeah, I just had one too. All right, 3 people in the next 5 years.
All right.
Let's hear
my
yours.
first crop. I got 3 corners for you, so I don't know if you're knowledgeable in your corners.
I know zero about defense.
All right, we got Marlon Humphrey, Ravens.
I do know who that is.
Jair Alexander, Packers.
Yep.
Trey White of the Bills.
Travis White?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 studs.
Marlon Humphreys had played a game with COVID recently.
Shout out
him. Stay inside, COVID. I got Marlon Humphrey 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tre'Davious White 2, Jair Alexander
Solid.
3.
Yeah, solid.
I think
that.
they're all
they're all
good.
super close. So.
But yeah, that's who I have there. All right, I got inside linebackers.
Okay.
Darius Leonard, Colts.
Okay, he's gonna be 1 probably.
Patrick Queen, Ravens.
Okay. Leonard's way better than him.
Devin Bush.
Okay, so Queen's gonna be 3.
Looks really good as a rookie, though.
Yeah, no, he's
a guy
stud.
that you're maybe the Packers could have drafted him because now they have Jordan Love sitting on the bench and they look like they're going nowhere. So,
I will go. It was Bush,
Leonard
1, Bush 2.
Bush out for the season, right?
Yeah, ACL. Yeah. That's why him and Leonard are both.
He's super good. Darius Leonard, God, he just came on the scene so fast.
Yeah,
he looks great. You have another one?
Yeah. I got receivers, DJ Chark, Cortland Sutton, Chase Claypool. I did this because I know Chark and Sutton are more high caliber than Claypool right now, but you love Claypool, so I think that would be interesting.
I think I have Cortland Sutton 1.
Yeah, you have to put him 1 in my opinion.
I think you have Chase Claypool 2, and I have Chark 3 because
I'd say they're
in
close.
Jacksonville and his career is a wash.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes me question how good of a receiver he is because he's the number 1 in Jacksonville. Congrats.
I like Chark though.
No, he's not bad, but Claypool has the size, has the speed.
Mm-hmm. I
looks
actually
really
agree
comfortable
with
in
that.
that.
I think that's what I would say.
He looks really comfortable in that offense too.
Yeah, you got one more.
Yeah, the Steelers. I mean, their weapons are endless at this point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is quarterbacks that we kind of poop on. So, guys you don't necessarily want to start your franchise with.
All right.
And I want you to think about Sam Darnold. I want you to think about him in a different uniform with a good situation with a coach that's not an absolute loser.
It's so hard, though.
Think about him his sophomore year at USC when he looked like the second coming of Christ.
I know.
All right. We have Drew Lock, Danny Dimes, Sam Darnold.
I actually have no idea. Like, I have no. I think, like, okay, between, like, take the whole Darnold factor out because he's a complete wild card of where anyone would put him. Who is better between Locke and Daniel Jones? I don't know.
I
know.
love Drew Lock.
I like Drew Lock,
but I honestly think Danny Dimes is better.
Yeah, I think he is
He
by a
looks
little
more
bit
consistent.
right now. Yeah, but you got to think.
But he's also consistent at giving the ball to the other team. He doesn't even throw picks.
His little hands.
He just fumbles.
Yeah, I think it's tough, like, because if we're going by situations as well, like, Locke's in a better situation, I would say, because he has better weapons. But I do think Danny Dimes is a little bit better. We know that Darnold's not going to be a Jet after this year, so I'll take a chance, and I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna go 1 Darnold, 2 Danny Littlehands, and 3 Locke. But
just based on, like, the potential of Sam
Darnold, because I don't think that Danny Dimes or Drew Lock will ever be a good QB in the league, but I think, or an above average.
Yeah.
I think that in the right situation, Darnold could be. But if Darnold goes to another bad team, then his career's done.
So are we still in the same wavelength that we think that Sam Darnold is the predecessor in Pittsburgh? Let him sit on the bench for 1 more year.
That's my hope.
See what Big Ben can do. And then
I think that would be awesome.
I got to ask you, did you fart?
No, I didn't fart. I can say that on the pod.
Definitely someone farted, and it was not me.
It might be Sticky. Shout out to Prod. He's denying it, obviously.
All right, dude, it was so you. Did
Bruce,
you fart?
Whenever we are at a function, you are always the one to clear a room. So I don't want to hear it.
Hey, so this weekend was Halloween, and I was looking to lay down, but I was on the small couch, and so I went over to the big couch.
Just ripped it.
Farted, and then I had the big couch all to myself.
Yeah, and the whole living
There
room.
was some girls I didn't know there, so potentially not the smoothest type move, but
it's okay.
It kind of is what it is. All right, we are going into a draft. This week, our draft is Mount Rushmore of sports movies.
Solid.
It is solid. It is basic. It is interesting. So, oh my God. Please let us know what you think. Yeah, we're going to get right into it. Heads or tails?
Give me heads. I go heads every week and win.
Flip a coin.
Siri, because you can't flip one. She didn't hear him.
Yeah, she did. Tails.
All right, you got it first.
All right. This is tough.
It is.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
I'm going to be criticized heavily for this because it's not all about sports. But I'm going number 1. I'm going Benchwarmers.
Okay. All right. I think mine might be, for the most part, more serious. I don't know. I love sports movies. My number 1 was Glory Road. 60-something Texas Western team that went and won the whole thing. I think that's one of my favorite sports movies ever.
Is it about baseball?
No, it's about basketball.
Oh, okay. So I probably should watch it. If it's about baseball, that's why
you've probably seen it.
Okay. Some good first picks. My number 2 pick is going to be Rocky. Original Rocky.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a boxing guy, so I never got into it, but classic.
My youth football coach, shout out Lance Flashbarth, forced me to watch all the Rocky movies in one weekend.
It's facts.
Definitely grew as a man. It is a great, insanely good movies.
Number 2, I'm going The Blind Side. I think it's just a goated movie.
It is a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
Shout out Miss Creed. We watched that in health.
6th grade health.
6th grade health. Remember when she just stare at the ceiling the whole time?
Yeah, she would do that. She would do that.
She was a great teacher, so we are very appreciative of her.
But The Blind Side is a great movie.
Blind Side is a great movie. No question about it. This is tough. Oh, my God. I have so many on here. All right, number 3. I'm going to be hated for this.
Okay.
It's a movie called Foxcatcher.
Never seen it, so.
It is with Steve Carell. And
your picks suck. They're shitty.
Look at what he looks like. He has like all these
that
face.
Channing Tatum, aka Gronk? in there? Oh my god!
Look at what he looks like in this movie.
Why is
Okay.
his nose like that?
It's like what the guy looked like. That's what the real guy looked like.
That is not Steve Carell.
No, that's what the real guy looked like, and so
Okay.
that's him acting as the real guy. Okay.
I've never seen that.
Okay, so basically it is USA Wrestling. Basically, the wrestlers never made any money, and they travel the Olympics, and like their athletes never had anything,
Yeah.
trouble and buses, whatever. So this guy, his last name's DuPont. He invited them onto their farms, onto his farms, his family's farm, and he basically built the USA Wrestling training facility, and basically is like psycho. And like thinks he's a wrestler, thinks he's a coach. He's like 60 years old, has no friends, just like a kind of a total like psychopath.
Sure.
And he goes on. Mark Ruffalo plays Channing Tatum's brother. It's a real true story, and he ends up killing him, shooting him on his property because he thinks that like he's like trying like UFOs, all this crazy shit. Super good movie. Like never thought I would like it. Super good movie.
All right. Respect.
So we're gonna put it there.
All right. I went with two serious ones. I'm gonna go Happy Gilmore.
I had it up there.
Lighten the mood a little bit. It might be Adam Sandler's best movie in my opinion. I absolutely love Happy Gilmore.
It is a great movie.
Yeah.
It is how I learned how to golf. That is how I still
You
golf.
have still not learned how to golf.
And
And his softball swing.
my
inspired
adult
by Happy
softball league
Gilmore.
all-star. They called me a meat. Shout out our team. We were the underdogs.
I was not on it.
Aiden was not on it.
Though.
Producer E was on it, and it was a good time. But I got my softball swing from there. Hit a couple homers. No big deal. Yeah, I would step about 5 feet outside the box, but
Illegal.
I put a rope on that Jimmy. My next pick, I'm gonna go with Talladega Nights.
All right.
By all means, is a sports movie.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell is my favorite actor. His shit
Except
is so
on The
funny.
Office.
Oh, he's terrible on The
He was
Office.
the worst.
So bad on The Office.
What was his character named?
D'Angelo Vickers.
Oh my god. The Office is such a great show. That was such a
It just ruined
disaster.
it. But my favorite movie of all time is Step Brothers. So good. So
I'd say
good.
mine's probably The Hangover. Cause
No, they're insanely good movies.
it's a sensational movie.
Okay, so Talladega Nights at 4. What do you got?
I'm going first baseball movie. Give me Moneyball.
Okay, Moneyball, respectable movie.
No, really good movie.
Terrible book. Shout out some teacher that made me read the whole thing. It is long as shit. Didn't really enjoy it.
Great movie though.
But I understand like how analytics plays a point. I think that the Rays manager over Moneyballed the Super Bowl or the World Series.
I think
I lost it.
I honestly think like in all sports, people probably do stuff because of that movie. Like
They
Moneyball.
over analytics stuff.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick's is like you could say, oh, he's old school. Doesn't all his cutting players, all that shit's analytics.
Yeah.
Like he's high on the analytics stuff.
Mhm.
All right, this is tough. So I'm gonna tell you my couple ideas. Kicking and Screaming, another Will Ferrell movie. Hilarious.
That one's good. Yeah, soccer.
Goon. You ever seen Goon?
I don't think so.
Hockey movie. He's a
no,
goon.
I've
He's basically
definitely
just
never seen.
gets paid to start fights on the hockey court.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Dodgeball.
You have yours are more comedy related.
I don't like serious
Comedy
movies,
sports. Yeah.
but Dodgeball, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Stiller creeps me out, but he's really good in that movie. Vince Vaughn, just an overall hilarious movie.
Vince Vaughn is the GOAT.
All right, what's your number 5?
For number 5, I could go Sandlot and talk about that, but that's
It's kind of disrespectful that we haven't put it on.
I feel like it is disrespectful, so I'm gonna go ahead and mention it. But another good one that I think doesn't get enough love is Invincible. Vince Papali. E Sticky likes it. He walked onto the he walked onto like the Eagles, and ended up like having a career with the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, really really good movie. Really great movie.
Definitely sounds good.
Yeah.
I also like the movie about LeBron James in high school. Don't remember what it's called.
Space Jam. We haven't even mentioned Space Jam.
I have it on my list.
Do you
All
really?
right, here's our honorable mentions.
Like Mike.
Longest Yard. He Got Game.
Like Mike is
Creed.
a great movie.
I love Creed.
Creed's good.
Goon. Kicking and Screaming. Like Mike. Space Jam. And Rudy.
Rudy, yeah. That's about it. Remember
Did
the
you have any
Titans.
others? Remember the
Didn't-
Titans. Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah.
Super funny. Some parts were funny. They have the fat guy in it. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
other
funny.
were serious though. But anyways, that's the draft.
That's the draft. Let us know who won. I tend to have weird tastes, so nobody really likes my picks. And if you haven't watched Foxcatcher, go watch it because it's actually a good movie. And I mean, that's the episode. We had our intern on. We introduced you to our intern. It's going to be a little interesting segment. We're going to maybe try and cut it down in size. The first interview was over 30 minutes. We told me at 5 minutes was
He
over
just
30
wouldn't
minutes.
Stop talking.
Again, we want to thank him. We can't thank him enough. He is a very funny person, very bright light. So we're excited to have him as a part of this and see what his role is going forward. But yeah, that's the podcast. And we're, again, look at us on Twitter, look at us on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening. And
Yes, sir. See you guys next
we'll
week.
see you next week. Peace.